And then the last thing Jeremiah to pass out was pamphlets. All right. Oh, these pamphlets as well. All right, both of these. I'll put these in. So welcome everyone to Hire Myself, How to Start My Side Business. I'm very honored that you chose to show up today. A lot going on, especially here on Tuesday. But the whole idea is to give you the exact steps you'll need to, I'm going to close the door, to start your business. Whether we run out of time or not, you will have all of the information that you need to literally walk up out of here, register your business with the state, be completely legit, start making money. That's my goal for you. And again, you'll have all of the information to be able to do that. First things first, everyone should have these slides. We're technically challenged, so I can't pull it up. Unfortunately, not yet. Again, I'm Dr. Dominique Reese, and my support today is coming from Sir Jeremiah. He's an intern with us, learning all things business, and really trying to figure out what he wants to do. So Hire Myself. You'll see the About Me slide. You can read that in your own time. But I'm Dr. Dominique Reese. I'm a financial coach. I cover LA County. I help my clients with anything that impacts their money. That includes starting businesses, of course, the other traditional things. Budgeting, debt, credit, savings, taxes, child support, bankruptcy, purchasing a home, anything that impacts your money. If I can't help you, I will work with you to get the resource that you need or the professional that you need. If I can't help you, we get to work. Any questions about what I've just shared? If you're interested in following up with me, on the last page of your notes, you'll see a slide with my contact information. On the very last page, the last slide. You'll know how to reach me via the office, business cell. That link will allow for you to schedule an appointment with me. So at any time you want to schedule, you can do it all online. If you need to cancel it or reschedule it, you can do it all online. And I'll just get the notification. Feel free to take advantage of that. And this is for a free session. Question.
If someone is out of state and they need your help, could I refer them?
You can refer them. I'll talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you got my email there, Dominique@ReeseFinancialServices.com. Now, I deliberately don't give you this email because I want you to be able to reach me. I'm not here all the time. So, like, if you email me on one day, I'm not here. I might not get to it for like 2 or 3 days. I'm literally here about 3 days out of the week. So you have this email where you can reach me every day, and I'm more responsive. The other thing to mention is that August 20th, we will have our next workshop. I'm just not quite sure what it's going to be about yet, but I know I'm going to have it. Will it be the business stuff? Is the next one, or is it something? No, the business one is today.
No. Oh, I thought it was another one. Okay.
So August 20th, I'm thinking of doing some mindset work. So we might talk about mindset in August, but I'm just not sure. I like to do things based on what I'm hearing the issues are in the community and what people want to hear about, not just what I think is cool. So if you have an idea, please submit it to me. I'm open for August 20th. Of course, I got plenty I can talk about, teach about. But if there's something pressing that you want more information about, please submit it, and I'll totally consider it, and that could be the topic for August. All right. What comes to mind when you hear the phrase, start my side business? What feeling, thoughts, words, what comes to mind for you? Additional streams of income. That's on a lot of people's minds right now, including the young people I just talked today. So I don't think anyone is exempt from those thoughts. What else? Additional streams of income for sure.
If I'm a succeed or fail.
If you're succeed or fail, there's a lot of doubt, fear, worry, uncertainty, risk when starting your business. So that is practically normal. What else? What else comes to mind? Feelings, thoughts,
Where to start?
where to start, right? It is a process. And it could be quite confusing. I'm even just keeping like all the papers I'm handing out to you. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff. It's always a lot. which is why I always say, you know, everything we need, we have. Literally. We literally have everything we need. It's just knowing the divine order of all of it, right? What comes first? What comes next? What do I need? What don't I need? Really sifting through the nonsense and then getting to the work. So everything in divine order, that's what we're going to do today. You also have a comment?
My comment was, when you start a business, a lot of times you don't have the income to leave your full time, right? So it has to be a side before it can be a full time. Right, or until you get the right contract, and then you can give your notice. But, you know, you gotta start somewhere.
Gotta start somewhere. And I think a lot of times people, a lot of people, we get overwhelmed by the enormity of it all, right? I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Well, just start with step one. Like, figure out what you wanna do. Figure out who you wanna sell to. Figure out what your product is. Figure out what the service is. Don't even worry about what comes next, because everything in divine order. You start, the next thing is literally gonna present itself in front of you. It's gonna give you some kind of indication as the path you should be taking. So that's really good. Thank you for participating. What I'd like to do now is to know what your first name is and one thing your community can benefit from, needs, or is lacking. And you'll see why I'm asking that. So again, first name, one thing your community can benefit from, needs, or is lacking. And I'll start. Dr. Dominique, one thing I feel my community needs, is lacking, or can benefit from is free access to residents of LA County to financial coaching. So that's like my thing. And I'm paving a way to get to the county and have them pay me to do what I do for the entire county. That's my goal. I think with financial coaching, it's not just about money. I mean, I'm like a life coach. I hear a lot of what my clients' needs are. So if I hear that, I'm able to then connect them to the resources that I have and that the county has. So it's like an awesome, as we would say, ISD, integrated service delivery model. If I can be a resource to someone beyond the finances, then I'm just collaborating. I'm not creating nothing new. I'm just literally directing people to what's already there. And I'm already doing that. So I'm like, well, pay me some more money so I can hire a few more people and we can do this on a larger scale. That's my thing. What about you, sir?
My name is Tony, and I'm just starting a business. It's still in my head.
Okay. What do you think your community can benefit from, lacks, or needs? One thing.
You need more jobs.
More jobs. Thank you, sir. Tony. Deborah.
My name is Deborah, and I look around and see a lot of women that's like overweight and bad shoes, and I would like to incorporate some insoles or some good shoes to help out the walking.
Okay. Very good need. Sir.
My name is Sabito Jones. When I look around, the first thing that comes to mind that my community lacks is when it comes to restaurant and retail options, healthier options.
Okay, healthier.
Yes.
Got it.
You know, in terms of like restaurant, fast food options,
Okay.
things of that nature.
Big conversation, especially here in Compton, the food desert, right? LA County in particular, not even just Compton, but food desert, man.
My name is Okrisha, and I believe my community lacks empowerment of each other. You know, when you see someone else, you look at them and you either complain about what they're going through, not really knowing.
Right, right. And that is a big, interestingly enough, everything in divine order. Thank you, Father. Teenagers who I was teaching today brought that up. They're like, our community, like, we're not cool with each other. Like, our neighbors don't talk, and for them to be able to fight that as a problem or a need, you know, there's something going on. We don't really have community. Right? So that is a big deal. And I think even on a county level, like there's programs that could be created for that. So keep that in mind.
My name is Trevor Gibbons. When I look at the developmentally disabled children, so I don't think that they're getting the services that they need to empower them.
Okay. Right. And that's a whole community of population. So there's tons that could be done there.
My name is Dominique, and what I think our community here is lacking is access to affordable housing.
Right, Jeremiah. You ask Jane, that guy, come in, start the- affordable housing, go hand in hand with jobs, right? You need a lot more of it.
And the fact, Jay, my community is like, more mentors, big brothers, lots more mentors.
Right. It's been an actual national shortage of Black male mentors in our country for about 10 years now. And I think that gap is just widening. A good friend of mine runs a national nonprofit that, on a national scale, and he's a Black man, but even in his time there, he said the struggle that they had was with men who have been incarcerated coming out, like, we want to give people opportunities, but they were focusing on that population and they had trouble with background checks or even the men coming out thinking that they were good enough, to be able to be a mentor. And then you have men who are here who aren't signing up to be mentors. So it's like, we don't know how to reach them, whether they have kids of their own and they feel like they're not showing up for them. How are they going to go be a mentor for somebody else? So there's all these psychological blocks that are just preventing people from stepping up. So I totally agree with you.
And also, there are some people who would like to be mentors, but aren't exactly sure how to go about it because you're constantly getting them.
Right. The nonprofit world is not easy. So when you don't get that first answer or the solution, you kind of get discouraged sometimes, especially when you get the runaround. I know veterans get that a whole lot. So I appreciate you sharing that. And the reason why I asked you to do that is because businesses are typically started based on two ideas. Based on, I didn't go to you, Giselle, I'm sorry.
My name is Giselle, and I think it kind of goes with what you said, how she said that my community needs better representation.
Representation all around. Okay. Thank you, man. Did you find him? I saw him, but he must have left. Okay, thank you. So again, the reason I asked you to share that is because businesses are typically started based for two reasons. They're going to solve a problem or you're going to meet a need. However, we are not doing this for free. That is not a business. If you want to solve a problem or meet a need, whatever it is, we are not doing it for free. That is not a business. That's a hobby and you don't need a business to do that. If you're going to start a business, the idea is to solve a problem and meet a need for a profit. And I didn't say to make money, that to make a profit. That means the money you bring in is enough to cover your costs and there's something left over for you to go do what you want with. That's profit. So we're not talking about operating on lack, just enough to get by, just to serve my community. We got to dream a little bigger, think a little bigger, but start with profit in mind. Because at times, as business owners, we struggle with charging people. And we can't be in business if we're going to be afraid to sell. How are people going to find out about you? How are people going to know you exist? How are people going to know that you're a solution to their problem if you're not putting yourself out there and charging for it to make up a profit? So, what are we going to cover today? Why you should start your own business, what type of business you should start, the one-page business plan, and how to start your business checklist. So again, you're going to leave with everything you need to be able to go do this. This isn't like busy work. This is intentional work. So you're here to get the tools, take the tools, and then apply them. Don't just let these papers sit in a pile that you eventually throw away. If you're going to do that, just leave them here. So I challenge you to put your action plan together. What is it that you're going to do once you take this information? Because information not applied is just information. All right? And we ain't got time for that. If you're here, that's telling me that you're a business owner in training. Our time is our most valuable commodity, and we don't get paid based on our time. We get paid based on our value. So that's another mindset shift that has to happen. We're not out here charging people per hour. We charge them based on the results we get for you. So if I make this awesome salad, and this salad is going to help you with a better diet, with more energy, and then you're going to be able to go out into the world and do whatever you do at your best, and you're able to create money from doing your best, I'm going to need a little piece of that. So we're going to charge based on that value. I got that woman a result because she ate my salad. She felt so much better. My salads are $15. My salads are $23. because I have superfoods in it. I know the results you're gonna get, and basically after you eat this salad, you're gonna be a whole nother person. So I'm not charging you just based on how much my salad costs, how much it costs me to stand there and make the salad. No, that's an hourly mindset. Entrepreneurs don't do that. Wealthy people get paid based on results. So we're building our businesses. It's not to not be wealthy. It's to make some money, a profit, and then be able to do whatever we want to do. Some freedom is involved, not to just slave ourselves to another job. Like, we don't want our businesses to be another job. So we have to get our minds ready for what we're about to do. This is not what we're used to. This is not just going in as an employee. You're now calling all the shots, and you get to create the exact results you want. It's all formulated. So let's start with that in mind. Why is starting a side business important to your financial life? Jeremiah, do me a favor and get Mr. Jalan a set of the slides so we can follow along. Why is starting a side business important to your financial life? What's the matter? Absolutely. You hit my first point on the head, which I think we'll get to in a minute. But yes, you can. I mean, we know today is tough. It's tough to even get by with whatever you make off of your job. So additional streams of income. Everybody's saying, how do I make more money? Well, starting my own thing, I can control it. I'm not capped. It's unlimited. What else? Why else is it important to you to start a side business? Legacy, right? That's a great way for wealth building.
Freedom, as a single mom, having my own business will allow me to do what I want to do when I want to do, and when I'm able to.
Right. I completely agree with you. I have a 5-year-old, and he likes to travel. This little kid is like outdoors and like, Mommy, can we go somewhere after you get off work? I'm like, no, I just want to go home. But I hate that, right? It's kind of like, dang, when it's a whole bunch of people who just live on vacation. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. Like, this is for the birds. Like, they didn't sold me something that I don't even believe in no more. Go to school, get good grades, work hard, go to college, get a job. Then you get laid off. Well, nobody prepared me for that. Nobody told me what to do for that. And then they don't even teach us how to start a business. So you're absolutely right. Freedom, additional streams of income, and we just need more. A job is not going to do it. So you know why it's important. You know why you want to do it. You have your motivation. On the next couple of slides, I educate you about what a business is. You can read that in your own time, but I think we all understand now. A business is going to meet a need, it's going to solve a problem, and it's going to do it at a profit. Those three things: meet a need, solve a problem, and do it at a profit. So the next few slides, Investopedia.com. I love this website for all things money, business, investing. I use it all the time. So that's why I have it here, so you can see I rely on resources. Investopedia.com will tell you what a business is, and frankly, it covers everything that I feel I've already shared with you. So what type of business can you start? Well, technically, you can start any kind of business you want. I mean, at this point, especially in the age of the internet, this is the best time to, one, become a millionaire, because it's the easiest time to become a millionaire. And I say millionaire because I don't want no thousands. I need multi-millions. So I speak 6 figures and 7. But this is the best time to become a millionaire. It doesn't take a long time. You can actually reach the world. Like, I think if everything in divine order, this is the time where all the stars have aligned. It doesn't take a lot to start this business, and you can reach the world. There's 6 billion people. How many of those people can you get to buy from you? 6 billion. Like, there's got to be one. And if there's one, there's got to be 2. If there's 2, there's got to be 3. So now you know you're onto something. So don't think that no one wants what you have. They just don't know you exist. So now it's time to put the rubber to the road. What type of business are you going to start? Well, there's 3 main types right now: product-based, service-based, online-based. Product-based, you're going to create something. It'll be in your head, and then you're going to create it. It's going to be in front of you. And you're going to sell it. Then there's a service. With the service, you're offering transformation. You're taking somebody from X to Y, whatever that is. Whether it's, I'm going to teach you how to clean up your space better, right? I help people declutter. The space looks like this before. After I leave you, your space looks like this. Transformation. Service-based businesses offer and sell transformation. You're not selling your time. So don't start charging people, okay, well, I'm gonna spend an hour with her and then that's gonna cost me. No. You spend an hour with her, how much would that cost you? Now, what's your premium? What's your premium because it's you? There's nobody like you. So yeah, she can come get somebody else to declutter her space, but it ain't gonna look like this. So what are you charging her for that? And you add that on top of your cost, and then you create margin, and now you have a price point. Service-based businesses, we charge based on the transformation we're offering. That's why, yeah, you could work with me at $500 for a session, but my hourly rate, $255 an hour, I had to create one because we need it in order to understand what the value is. The value is beyond $255. You leave me, you're going to be able to go do something that'll help you create another $500. That's why I charge $500 for a 60-minute session. That's why I charge $3,000 for a 90-day session, because you're going to be able to either double or do something with your money that I'm going to need a little portion of. I'm going to teach you how to save 10,000, 20,000. Okay, well, I'm going to need a portion of that. So give me my 3, and you go on with your 12 that I taught you how to save when you went from 0 to 12. I need a portion of that. And it's not an hourly rate that you're going to be able to afford to give me that. So I want you to understand in service-based businesses in particular, yes, you will use the hourly rate to figure out how much you want to charge someone, but that's not what you're going to charge them. You're going to add some on top of that. One more details, you got to meet with me. Right here, 101.
Dominique,
Hmm?
is that 10%?
That's that little piece, 0 to 10. 0 to 10%. So those are the 3 types of businesses that you get to create: product-based, service-based, online-based. Now, why start now? This part is super important, especially for us in LA County. As Ms. Kebra already said, working a job is not enough. So we already got that down. But there are billions of dollars coming into LA. So I'm on this slide right here that says, why start a business now? Billions of dollars are coming into LA. Now, I know we hear this all the time, like, oh, there's money coming into the city, right? But you're like, I don't know how to access that money. How does that trickle down to me? I know how to access the money. So why is this important? Metro, we got the train line, right? They're building a metro rail to LAX. LAX is redoing all kinds of terminals. 2028, whether you know it or not, the Olympics are coming. They're preparing for that right now. And then we got 2 stadiums that are being built. So all of this construction, all of this renovation, all of these things are happening in our county. And right now, I'll tell you, I see contracts coming through all the time for dirt hauling. They need people to haul dirt. And you go get a contract for that. The unfortunate part is that if your business is set up and you're not certified, you still won't know that there are dirt hauling contracts because you're not certified. So it's not enough to just have the business. You got to get certified. And I'll probably do a class on certification. Thank you, Father. That's what it's going to be about. Everything in divine order, it comes to me. I'm going to make a note. August 20th, we're going to talk about certifying your business, which literally can happen in 24 hours. The next slide I left blank. Examples of product-based, examples of service-based, examples of online-based. I left those blank because I want you to fill them in. I want you to brainstorm what you can create, whether it's a product. Like I have a t-shirt line. No one will know that because I don't promote it, but I will be. I have a mug line. It's based on my mantra, everything in divine order. So I have a cup, I have a t-shirt, but I'm a money lady. So I offer products and services because I wanted a product-based business. I'm fascinated by it. I've always been in the service-based industry. So just because you know you have, I'm like, well, dang, I know what it was like to sell a product. And now I've sold one, so I know now. But you can have all of it. You don't have to pigeonhole yourself. And that's what I was afraid of. I didn't want to get pigeonholed into people thinking I can only do one thing. When I know within me there's much more I want to do. So I just had to go out and do it. and there's a platform for that. So I want you to start brainstorming. What are some product-based businesses that I can create? What are some service-based businesses that I can create? And what's an online business that I can create? So you have the space to do that, and I encourage you to do that. Again, everything in divine order, no work is busy work, ain't nobody got time for that. Everything is intentional. So then, once you have these ideas, once you've thought about what you want to create, once you've thought about whatever the offer is that you want to put out into the world, who are you going to give it to? Now, this is the part where we got to get real serious. I see people starting businesses and trying to sell to everybody. Everybody is not for you. You're not trying to reach everybody. That's just not the way business works. You want to define your ideal client. Now, yes, you might get other people because they see your marketing and they feel like it resonates with them. But they may not be your ideal client. That's cool. You still work with them because they chose you. But when you're targeting a specific group of people who you want to serve, which you all have mentioned a need in your community, and there's a specific type of client who's going to benefit from that need, you need to know everything about them. First, you got to know a little bit about yourself. Then you got to know a lot about them, because how you reach them is going to be through who they are, not just what you're offering. I'll give you an example. Well, it's right here, actually. So on the slide, who does your business serve? Your business serves your ideal client. Well, who is my ideal client? Your ideal client is that person who, when they see your marketing, is like, I have to work with this person because she's me. I have to go to that restaurant because they know what I love. I have to go to that gym because they understand that I don't like to do the gym. These are the things we call demographics and psychographics. So as you're coming up with your ideas and you know, okay, I want to do this, I want to offer that. Who am I going to offer it to? Well, I want to help this specific group of people. Okay, well, what do you know about that group of people? What's their age? What's their ethnicity? Where do they live? What's their marital status? What is their income? What do they do for a living? I could give you my breakdown to give you an idea of what I mean. Traditional demographics are things that you could literally research and get stats on, right? So if I didn't know who I wanted to target and I had to do the research, you could go and research using the census, using the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Like, you can go get the data to find out who your people are. But if you know who your people are, you will be able to do like this. So I serve typically Black women leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs between the ages of 25 and 55. They're single for the most part, or they may be mothers. They make between 35 and 90,000. They live in the city, and most of them are leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs. I know that about my market. I know it because I have the evidence to prove it. Every client that I can pull up, yes, I work with men, and yes, I work with non-Black people. But my market, who I target, are those women, and I've been able to learn that based on collecting the data. So you have to do that. Anyone that you serve, learn about them. These are the very basics that you can collect on a person. Even if someone comes, buys a product, have them fill out a little survey before you give them their change. Because it's hard to get people to do surveys. They ain't coming back. So you get them while you got them. If you get them while you got them, then hey, take this quick 60-second survey for me. Now you got more data because that person just bought from you. If you know who they are, you can probably reach more of them. More people in that age group, more people from that ethnicity, more people who have that marital status, because people tend to buy based on behavior and who they are. So if you have that information, you put it into your marketing and you let that drive what you put out to people, not what you think is cool or cute. It's like, use the data, let the numbers tell you. But the other piece of that is what we call psychographics. Psychographics go beyond the data that you can go research and find. Psychographics is all about behavior. So going back to my market, and it never fails. I literally got a call today to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. My market, we're information gatherers. Black women leaders, professionals, and entrepreneurs, they want all the information before they buy. They go ask a lot of questions because they just gotta be sure. Well, I wanna be sure it's a good fit. I wanna be sure I'm not gonna waste my money. Okay, I got one more question. I was on the sales call yesterday and she literally kept saying, okay, just one more question. I'm like, it's okay. Like, I know my market. You're gonna have tons of questions by the time you get off this phone. Okay, I just got one more question, Dr. Dominique. It's okay, ask your question. She's gathering information. She needs information before she can say, yes, I'm gonna buy. Yes, I'm gonna invest. Yes, I'm gonna enroll in your program. I know my people are information gatherers. That's a psychographic. I know that when they're sitting there online and they see something they wanna buy, they're gonna go comparison shop. They go hold that website, they go open a new window and they go see where they can get it cheaper. That's a psychographic. I know my market's behavior. So how do you get that data? Well, you literally have to ask for it, or you have to do the research. Another way to do that is to say, well, where do they hang out? I know today in like the online world, people still hang out and people still read, but everything's online for the most part. So you might ask, well, what websites do they frequent? What social media platforms are they on? Because that's where they congregate. They're showing you their behavior. What types of magazines do they read if they are reading? Some people read I know my market reads Black Enterprise and Essence, like hands down. Those two magazines. So what does that mean? Why is that important? Well, if I want to create an ad, I'm going to go put an ad in Essence. I'm going to put an ad on Essence website. And if I'm really thinking big, I'm going to be at Essence Festival with a booth because my market is there. I know their behavior. I know they like to travel, but they be broke. So I need to do a class on how to travel and not be broke because that's going to attract them based on their behavior. So when you know the behavior of your market, you can get in front of them in more ways than one because you're hitting at the heart. Psychographics hit at the heart. People buy based on emotion. So if you can get all up in your market's head about what it is they're considering before they buy, now they're going to feel like you know them. One other thing that's really easy, I mean, some people don't do it, but it makes a difference. Because I offer 4 or 5 figure programs, I know my market can't afford to just drop that. So the fact that I offer a payment plan has done wonders. Something as simple as a payment plan lets my market know, I got you. She knows me. She knows what I can afford. And the price at which I make my payment plan and how often they're going to pay it. So I don't want this payment plan to go on for forever because what will happen is she will no longer be engaged. She might not even show up to the course anymore because it's just another thing that she paid for, forgot about, wasn't engaged. I signed up for another program and it didn't help me. So we ain't going on and on with this payment plan. We got 2 or 3 payments and we're done. I know my market. You got to know your market. You got to know more about their behavior, what they like to do, even their core values. I know that my women that I work with, they're spiritual. They're women of God. They're faith-based women. So I can incorporate that into my marketing. I can incorporate that into how I reach them. And anytime they see something from me, they're going to say, oh, yeah, she knows me. I want to work with her. Or something's going to resonate with them because I know they're psychographic. I know how they think about things. So you want to put energy into that. That's going to separate your business from a successful business and an average business. If you know your market like nobody else. Literally, we all out here offering the same thing. So if you think about what your USP is, your unique selling proposition, why would someone choose you over the other person? Especially if you're offering the same product, same service. Why choose you? That's where your marketing comes in. That's where your unique selling proposition is going to take you over and beyond the other competition. So that's what you want to consider when you're thinking about who you serve in your business. Okay, so you have some information on that. I'm going to check in. So now what? So far we learned what a business is. Investopedia.com gave you the definition of that. We talked about why you will start a business now, the type of businesses you can start, and who your business will serve. So how do you start this business, right? How do you literally take whatever ideas you have and go out in the world and make it happen? It's literally 8 simple steps. That's it. 8 simple steps. You do these simple steps, you got a business. The paperwork that I have, I'll go over it in a second so you know like why I gave you what I gave you. First step to launching your business is to pick a location. And in today's world, like I said, you can have an online-based business. If you have an online-based business, then you're in the market for everybody to be able to see you. You're not limited to your storefront location. You're not limited to who drives by. You know, you're not limited in that way. So there's some pros and cons. But obviously, if you have a brick and mortar, you can rent, you might have some insurance. Online, you don't have those costs. So you get to be online and you could be a brick and mortar, but you got to decide how you're going to run your business based on the business you're building. So pick your location. And you might operate out of your home. If you're operating out of your home, you probably have a website so people can find you, so you're online. That's it. Make a decision, online or brick and mortar. Next, you're going to register your business. Oh, I'm sorry, no, you're not. You're going to choose your formation. Once you choose your formation, that's literally, am I going to be a sole proprietor? Am I going to be an LLC? Am I going to be a corporation? You're going to choose that based on the type of business you're building. However, I will tell you, the way to just get going and make sure that you're legit, you can start off as a sole proprietor. That just means I am my business. Me and my business are one. We are not separated, we are one. Now there's some risk to that. You go out in the world, you offer your service or your product, and somebody wants to sue you, they sue you. You and your business are one. So get ready, your personal assets are at risk unless you have insurance or a bond. So let's say you can't afford to be an LLC or a corporation, or that's just not what you want. You can be a sole prop and you get insurance and you get bonded. So when someone does come for you, file a claim, let that insurance pay for it, or you got a bond, you're protected. So that's another way for you to still be a sole proprietor, get started, work your business without having to be a corporation or an LLC. Now, if you do decide to be an LLC, limited liability corporation here in California, know that you will pay an $800 tax every year, whether you make money or not. So if you're not ready to pay $800, don't become an LLC. If you are and you want that protection, the LLC separates you from your business. So that means you try to come and sue me, you're not suing Dominique Reese, you're suing Reese Financial Services, and my personal assets are no longer up for grabs. So that's how you separate yourself from your business. You become an LLC, or you become a corporation, or you become a general partnership. So basically, every formation type, except for sole prop, is where you get that protection of separation. Every formation type except for sole prop. Sole prop, you and your business are one and the same. You have partnerships, or you have corporations, S Corp, B Corp, C Corp. You can learn more about that at, I'll give you the website in a second, but I'll also email it out. Partnerships, nonprofits, and cooperatives. Let me clear up the miscommunication around nonprofits. Nonprofits are for-profit businesses. I know they're called nonprofits. It's so misleading. It's quite dumb, actually. However, everything in divine order. So I'm sure it's that way for some reason. Nonprofits, when they file, they say, okay, I want to start a nonprofit. You're filing as a corporation. You are a corporation when you file. However, you apply for tax-exempt status with the IRS and with your state. That's all money. So we really understand what's happening here, right? If every business has to register with the state of California, everybody's doing that no matter what type of business you have. You're either going to be sole prop, LLC, corporation, or something. If you're not a sole prop, though, then you've created the separation. You're a corporation. So nonprofits start off as a corporation. They're for-profit. They can do whatever they want with their money. The minute they apply for tax-exempt status and they get it, that's basically telling the IRS, oh, when we make money and we make a profit, we don't have to pay taxes on it. That's all that says. And because you have that status and you don't pay taxes on it, you have to follow a certain code with how you spend that profit. Versus if you're a corporation and you're not a nonprofit, when we make a profit, we get to do what we want with it. So we got to pay taxes on it. That's the only difference. The IRS is in your business with one, the IRS is not in your business with the other. You get to do what you want as a corporation. When you make a profit, put it back to you. I'm going to increase my salary. You can't do that with a nonprofit. You can't just go increase your salary with profit. That's a red flag. You're supposed to be doing good work. So you can't just go and increase your salary. And if you do, you have to get it approved by a board, which they can then fire you from your own nonprofit and kick you out. So there are things to consider, Giselle.
Is there a way to fight that?
Absolutely. But you're fighting a board. And if they want you out, for the most part, you probably don't. So you probably just be like, let me just take my package and I'm out of here. But imagine that you build something that was yours and then people will vote you out.
Now, if they do that with one, would you be able to start up another nonprofit?
Absolutely.
You're kind of
You can't block it. It can happen again. You
Oh.
build up something, you have a board. That just means you're horrible at choosing board members.
Right.
That's what that means. Who's choosing the board? Right. You're horrible at recruiting for your board. It happens. You can Google, I'm sure you could Google some instances. I want to say like, I think Steve Jobs with Apple got voted out. Build this billion-dollar company and then you give me the boot? I mean, at that point, I'm a billionaire. It's all good. But it happened. So you want to choose your formation based on the business you're building. So remember, everybody starts off as a corporation unless you're a sole prop. Choosing your name. That's the fun part, right? Oh, what's my name going to be? Well, here in the state of California, you want to go to sos.ca.gov. It's written there in your slide. And they have a little link, and it's going to say, check name. And then it's going to have all this typos and text, and then it's going to say, pay. Do not pay. You don't need to pay to check the name. It's free. But they have that there. It's such a, like, the state just collects money. It's so funny. If you want to pay to reserve the name, that's what that's for. It's not paying to check the availability of the name. You could just run the check right there. It's a field for you to type it in and see if anybody else has that business name. Do not pay, but check the availability. And that's important because if you want to go get a website, you want to go get a website where somebody else already has that name. They may not have the website, but they may have the name. So you want to be sure that the name you want is available. And then when you go buy your domain, that it's available as well.
Okay, so say it's unavailable, but the person is not actively using it. Can you contact them?
Yeah, there's a process by which you can do that. So like, let's say you submit your application to the state and they're like, oh, there's a business with that name, but that business is inactive. You're good. So you get to use the name.
So you don't have to contact them.
You don't have to contact them. It's like the state will go through a process by which they legitimize it and say, okay, well, they're inactive. They're not using the name. You have permission to do it. Now, go ahead.
You don't have to go through them then, right?
You don't have to go through the actual company that has that name. However, if for whatever reason the state directs you to them, I don't know what that situation might be, but then you would have to. Outside of that, if it's an inactive name, they're not paying taxes, they're not in business, they're dissolve their business, you don't have to go through that process. The state is going to give you information on what your next best steps are for using that name.
Okay.
But here's the other thing I will say, Sir Patrick, one second. Depending on how big that business has gotten with that brand or with that name, you may want to reconsider using it if they already had an impact with it, just to make sure your business is not confused with theirs.
Okay.
Maybe not.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I went through it, and the company who owned the name, they're not using the name, and the fee for the name was like $1,500.
For on the website, on like when you went to go buy the domain.
Yes, I went to a check price.
Okay. Okay, so those two different things. That's why this is a good question. When you go to like GoDaddy.com or Namecheap.com, those are called domain providers. That's just for website purposes. It has absolutely nothing to do with the state. That's like me saying, I'm going to sell domains, and I'm going to call myself GoDaddy, and if you want to buy a particular domain name for a website, you got to come through me. State has nothing to do with it.
Wow.
So, and this happened to me, so I know, but here's what you do. You protect your name. So let's say one of the names you want has been used, but that business is not using it anymore. Well, if they've trademarked the name, then you can't use it because they protected it, right? Either trademark, patented, or copyrighted. So if they have any of that, then you can't use it because they protected the name. Doesn't matter if the website is available or any of that. They're two separate things. So what you would want to do is, one, make sure the name is available with the state. If it is, you're good. Two, check the domain, which is what you said. And when you went, you're like, dang, it's $1,500. GoDaddy, Namecheap, what they decide is, oh, certain keywords are worth premium dollars. I'll give you an example. My program is called Master My Money. Master and money are premium words. I bought that domain name for like $15 when I first bought it. When I hit financial rock bottom, I let go of everything, including that domain name. I didn't renew it, which it only would have cost me like $20 to renew. But I just wasn't in the mind frame. I wasn't doing anything. So I lost the domain name. Went back to the public and anybody could buy it again. Well, when I went back to buy it again, it was $2,000 because GoDaddy realized master and money are premium words and they show up in Google searches high ranking. So now my website that was $14.99 is now $21.95.
So,
So if I want it, I gotta pay GoDaddy $21.95, and guess what? The second year it's $14.99 again.
so it was good that I didn't go right back on it to check and see if anybody wanted it.
Yeah. If you monitor it, I've seen mine go down a little bit, but now it's like 1,700. So it ain't 2,000, but it's 1,700. So it might go down over time. So keep checking it. But I would say once you get the money, just copy it.
Let's go get it, yeah.
Just copy it. I mean, I'm waiting to do that. I don't feel like dropping the name, but I really want it because I protected the name. I went to the USPTO.gov, which is another website you need to write down. USPTO.gov is where you go to protect anything you build. Your logo, your name, image. You want to get it patented, copyrighted, trademarked, USPTO.gov. Now, let me tell you again, this process
Protect the name.
to protect your name, image, logo, phrase, tagline, any of that. $175 to file. If you do it yourself, you could get rejected the first time because it's confusing and I think it's deliberately set up that way. That's my thought. I had a lawyer do it for me. I had to pay the lawyer $300. So my filings costed me $575 per filing. I just kind of did 3 at one time. I only got 1 approved. And they denied my other ones because they said there were other images that looked like it. And I was like, that wasn't, like you could dispute it, but it's just not worth it. But when you refile, you got to refile and pay every time. That's $275 to the state or to the USPTO. And if you hire a lawyer to do it for you, the lawyer fee. So it can get quite costly to protect. But I will encourage you to protect whatever you feel is worth it. Because that little 500 ain't gonna be nothing when you're grossing much more than that. USPTO.gov, copyright, patent, trademark. That's where you go for all those things. And you will decide based on what you're creating, the type of protection you need. If you need a copyright, if you need a patent, or if you need a trademark. Copyrights can actually be done very cost effectively. They're probably the least cost effective. Or they're the most cost effective, the least cost effective.
Does one protect you more than the other?
No, because it's based upon what you're protecting. So for example, if you have a book, your book could be copyrighted, but the image, my logo on my book is trademarked. So you see, it's like based on what it is you're building and what you want to protect, you choose based on that. So copyright for this, or trademark for that. If you create something, that's a patent. So based on what you're creating, you choose accordingly.
Copyright is more so for intellectual property.
Intellectual property for content. Yeah, so like music, books, anything written or visual. But visuals could be trademarked as well, depending on logos and art. So that's choosing your business name and checking the availability. Again, do not pay. See that on the website, don't pay. Just check your name for free. Register your business with the state of California. So I've given you the filing fee schedule, as well as this document where you can go to actually register the business. County clerk. And that paper has all of the offices depending upon your location. I typically go to the one in Norwalk. It's real easy breezy. Like it's never crowded there anymore. So whatever they did, it worked. It's never really crowded there. But you go to the county clerk's building, you walk in, there's gonna be people outside screaming all kinds of
Yeah,
things
that's what I was
to you.
Yeah,
Because
that's still
there's a
there.
process. So when you go there, you're gonna go for business filing. Go into the office, you're gonna fill out a paperwork on a computer. Everything is online now. It's called your fictitious business name. That's what you're filing. You're filing for your fictitious business name. So when you leave that office, they're going to give you 2 papers. One is going to be a copy, one's going to be the original. It's going to have all your information, your name, your address, your phone number, the name of your business, the address for your business, the formation of your business, and then a seal is going to be on the back. That's your official FBN. You're going to need that to go open a bank account at a bank. To get your permits, you're going to need that. So that paper is important. To file that paper is $26 for a sole prop. You have the filing fees for all of the other business formations. So if you're creating a corporation, it's going to tell you how much it's going to cost you to file your paperwork for a corporation. You're going to file for LLC, it's going to tell you how much it is for that. So you have the filing fee schedule, and then you have the locations to where you can go to actually file. Again, I go to the one in Norwalk, there's one in Palmdale / Lancaster, and then there's some further out, I believe. So Norwalk and Palmdale are probably the closest to us. So that's literally how you're going to register your business with the state. Pay the filing fee, you're in business. The paperwork you get from them, you're going to use to go get everything else you might need. That's kind of where it starts. Because if you go get a permit, they're going to say, where's your fictitious business name statement? Oh, I didn't know I needed that. Yeah, that's how you register with the state. So that's where you start, and that paper gives you access to do everything else you need to do, including getting your EIN. So that's the next slide. EIN is basically the social security number for your business. So again, when we want to start to separate ourselves from our business, and when we make money, yeah, we might put that money in our account. That's how most of us start out. But we want to have our business with its own account, and that account will be attached to the business social security number, which is what we call an EIN. It's a 9-digit number. Oh, just like our social. It's a 9-digit number, but it's for your business. That's basically just identifying your business as a social security number. But when you get paid, and people say, well, fill out this W-9 as a contractor or consultant. That W-9 is what's going to tell them to either add this income as a part of your social, and then it'll be calculated as your income, or add it as my business income. And when you start to get paid, you want to more and more add your EIN number, not your social. You want less and less of you to be attached to the business and more of the business to have its own stuff going. That's also important because when you start to build business credit, they're going to want to look at your bank account. So if you don't have a business bank account, it's just a little tougher to get your business credit going. You want your business to start establishing its own stuff ASAP. And then if you need to pay yourself, just take a withdrawal from the business account rather than putting it in your account and then just living off of it. That's not a business. So if you can start separating the two ASAP, do that. That's why the fictitious business name statement is important. That's what you get when you register your business. Go open that account, and that's in our steps. I'll get to that part in a second. But you're going to use that to open your business account. And then when you get paid, and people say, okay, fill out this W-9, that W-9 is going to have your social or your business EIN. Put the business EIN. Start letting that number be associated with your business rather than your social, because that's basically going to come as your income. So you want to start separating yourself from the business.
So even though, like, say you're doing a sole you
Go
can still technically be separate when it comes to taxes.
Absolutely. Yep. And when you go to the website, www.irs.gov, again, this is all money, so this is federal. And you apply for an EIN, it's going to ask you what's your business formation. You put sole prop, and that's perfectly fine, but you're now starting to establish that there's an additional stream of income for a business, and you want that to be separate. Now, in the end, as a sole prop, your business income and your income is still one, though, right? So even though you have the EIN, you're still going to file that money as you would on your normal taxes, like whatever how you would file. That money is going to be included, unless you have a good tax person and they can tell you, well, you don't have to report this because it's a certain amount. So you don't always have to report what you're making if it's a certain amount. So let's say you got a big contract, you're working with 50 grand. That's probably going to be reported, and you want that to be reported, but using your EIN, so that the business is establishing its own income. Because if not, IRS is going to be like, well, where's the business? Like, everything's coming to you. So why are you taking write-offs? And why are you saying you have a business when you don't have anything established for the business? account, there's no EIN. So all of these things legitimize the fact that you're in business. And they start to separate you from the business so that the business can have a life of its own. Build its own credit. That way you don't have to use your credit, use the business credit. Go buy a car, let the business buy the car with the business credit, not your credit. That's what we want to get to. But if you don't start separating that stuff from the beginning, then what's typically going to happen, you start making money, it comes into your account, you're commingling, you're spending money for business stuff out of your account, you're spending stuff for your personal out of your account. So when the IRS sees that, that's what triggers audits. Because they're like, but you say you have a business, but nothing's separate. So you got to be very mindful of separating things so that it's not just a hobby. They give us 5 years to get out of hobby mode before they start really paying attention to what's going on with the numbers. So if you could just separate that stuff from the beginning, it's awesome because now the business is going to start building its own credit, which takes a little bit of time. You'll get a DUNS number for your business, all those things that when you go to apply for a loan or a credit card for your business, they're running the business credit. They actually can see there was an account established. There's some history with that account. All of that stuff comes up if your business has its own stuff. If it doesn't, then they're going to say, okay, where's your social? We're pulling your credit, and we're basing this loan for you off of what you got going on. Let's separate that. Let's start making ourselves separate so we could get the business going and have less to worry about on our personal end. Okay? So that's why that EIN is important, and I've given you the website for you to be able to go get one. And it's free. You get it you get the number the same day you apply. You just print it off. Depending on the type of business you have, you may need to apply for a license or a permit. And if you do, that's city and county level. That's based on your business. If you're in the restaurant industry, there's some permits and health stuff that you got to get. For service-based businesses, it's usually just the business license. And that's with the city. So the city will know what you got coming in. You're going to do business in the city, about the taxes. That's why you got to have a business license. So based on the business you're building, you want to know what permits or licenses are applicable, and then you go to those specific departments and agencies, and you apply for that. That's all based on the business you're building. So there's like no one size fits all for that. But it's just you need to be mindful that you may need to do it, so it's a part of these steps. That way you make sure you do it.
And this was the state of California, for instance, I want to go to another city up north and run my business as well because of the event that they have.
Yep.
Will I have to get the permits from up there, or I can run with the permits that I already have that I got here?
Great. Competition or something. That organization that's throwing the event would have secured the necessary licenses and permits for people to be there. It's almost like a tattoo convention, right? So at a tattoo convention, even if you're coming from wherever you're coming from and the convention is here, you have to apply to the convention for a license. So then the convention people are responsible for issuing the licenses for whomever is there. Because at the convention, the inspectors are walking around like, oh, where's your license? Like, well, I'm from the state of Missouri and we're in Chicago. Well, yeah, but you should have applied. When you registered for this convention, there was a space on there that said pay for your license. So
that's something you should look out for.
You should look out for that. Like if you're going to do business in a different state and your whatever the business is, for the most part, service-based businesses, we don't have this issue because we're not delivering anything to the public harm per se. But like if it's a product or you're massaging or like if you're touching people or making contact with people, then that's like Department of Public Health or some other state agency if it's food might be involved. So you want to look into permits and licenses.
I have a question. Back in the 80s, you can come and answer it later if you have an answer. My mom used to say that there were special loans that the government gave to Disney to start their mail shop, and they didn't have to pay it back, or there was a certain schedule. Do they still have like minority loans or things for women?
Absolutely.
Okay, that was mine.
Absolutely. And right now, in particular, I can tell you there's a lot of money to be given to small business owners. I'm actually working with an organization right now that has money they can't loan out. They can't loan it out because the business owners aren't ready. meaning they're not loan ready. To be loan ready, your credit has to be a certain way. You have to have certain books, or not books, but your bookkeeping needs to be in order. It doesn't have to be like a whole lot of stuff. It's just that some of us run our businesses just like on a lean business, right? We just doing what we do. We're not necessarily creating a P&L statement or income statement or a balance sheet. But to be loan ready, the loan application requires a P&L statement, an income statement, a balance sheet. So if you don't have that as part of your application, you need to create it. And most business owners are like, I don't know how to create that, or I ain't got time for that. I'll just apply later. So this organization is stuck with applications that they can't make people loans for because they're not loan ready. So I say that to say the money is there. And that's why I appreciate you being here to learn what you need to do to be loan ready, so that whether you're in business or not, you can still have a P&L statement. It's just going to show zero, but you got the statement. And if you can, with your personal, then back the loan and say, well, yeah, I got money coming in. I could pay back this loan, use my personal. That's where that comes in. So again, even though we want to separate ourselves, in the beginning, that's usually how it happens. Our personal is funding our business. So we got to have our personal in order. Credit, income, all of that. But for the business, you want to have a P&L. You want to have an income statement. You want to have a balance sheet. The loan application is going to ask for it. Taxes for 2 years. Business owners wasn't filing their personal taxes, let alone business taxes. So when the loan application said we need 2 years taxes, they like, well, I haven't filed. Okay, well, I can't give you a loan. And people just never come back, right? Okay, I'm gonna get it in order. There's nobody following up. There's nobody on there. So they never come back. Organizations sitting with hundreds of thousands of dollars, they can't loan because people aren't loan ready. I'm actually coming in to build a program to help small business owners get loan ready. I'll tell you more about that as soon as they sign this contract, which should be signed by the end of this week. Literally emailed her today, like, hey, what's going on? If I got to build this, I need time.
That's the same Mr. Grants.
Yes and no. So some of these organizations do issue grants. Grants you don't have to pay back. Loans you do have to pay back. Most of them issue loans because they're called what's known as a development corporation. And this particular development corporation just got granted what's called CDFI. CDFI stands for Community Development Financial Institution. You need to know these organizations because one, they help. Their sole purpose is to stimulate the economy by issuing loans and helping small businesses expand. So that's their way of creating help. It's called a development corporation, and there's thousands of them. I'll give you two in particular. Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation, that's one. And then there's Valley Economic Development Corporation. They're out in Pacoima. They have an awesome center, and they got money. So I'll be trying to know where the money is.
And they have loans there, grant.
Loans. All of these places issue loans, but some of them get grants sometimes too that they have to give out. Now the grants might come in the form of like a business class, so they'll offer you business training or whatever that is. The grants are there. It's just kind of hard to find because they don't have to pay back. Question. Okay.
Now, I know your class, you're gonna do a class on certification.
Yes.
Or will your class after that be on the grant amount?
Well, we could tie it in.
Okay.
So,
It's really hard using your own money.
absolutely. Listen, starting a
You got
business is
some.
starting a business is a risk, but it's worth it because it's yours, right? So part of that funding piece is even if you don't have business income yet, if they're going to issue you a loan, they're going to go off of your personal. That was the other part of the discussion. Like, well, even if we wanted to issue small business owners these loans, their credit is shot. Can't go to a bank and tell them a loan to somebody with 500. We need them to be at least 620 or 640. So now they're saying, well, let's build a credit program to help the small business owners get loan ready.
Okay.
That's where I come in. So that's what I'm building for them. However, it's on both sides. It's on personal and it's on the business. Because once we get the personal in order, you still need your business to have those documents. P&L statement, income statement, balance sheet. It's a part of the loan application. So if you don't have it, I'm going to help you create it, and then you'll be loan ready, ideally. So the Economic Development Corporation, again, their sole purpose is to support small businesses so that you can either expand your business, hire someone. they get measured by how many jobs they create from the small businesses. So if they give you a loan for $50,000, you can technically hire somebody to help you. That's what they're going to encourage you to do. That's how they get measured. So they're like, oh, okay, so now you can hire somebody. Like, yeah, but I was thinking about doing this with the money. That's cool, but they're going to encourage you to hire someone. That's how they get measured to get more money. But the idea of becoming a CDFI, everybody doesn't have that status. That's like cream of the crop. They basically have the ability to issue loans from certain grants that they got, which they couldn't do before without that CDFI status. So VSCDC, Vermont Slauson Economic Development Corporation, they just became Vermont Slauson, literally off of Vermont Slauson. And it'd be so weird, like this organization has been around for over 20 years, and I've lived where I've lived all my life, and I never knew they existed. And that's how most of these little things operate.
Yeah.
Like you just won't know they're there. Literally, they own the shopping center on Vermont and Slauson.
Right.
Like the brainchild behind that purchased that lot, and now VSCDC owns that entire lot. Superior, I think there's a Ross there now, CVS, whatever those stores are, they pay rent to VSCDC. They're collecting like 5 figures a month now because of that. I mean, we could start our own economic development corporation if we wanted to. It's literally a nonprofit that's operating in the world. That's it. They're nonprofit.
So a CDFI can do loans that are grants?
No, they issue loans from grants that they got. So the federal government says, oh, you're a CDFI, okay, we're going to give you this money, go do what you want with it. Before, they couldn't make loans out of that money. They had to either create programming, they had to spend it some kind of way. But now they can issue loans with that money, meaning they can make a little bit of money on the money that the government has given them. So they're now like a bank, which is great because everybody can't get approved from a bank.
Right.
So that's another thing. Like, what are the barriers? They're there to remove barriers so that business owners can get the funding they need without getting the rejections from the banks. The banks have typical like higher standards, higher credit score. Probably have to show that you actually made sales. Like a bank ain't just gonna take a chance on it. But a CDFI, EDC, Economic Development Corporation, they will. That's their purpose. Okay. Where are we? We're on open a business bank account. Kind of talked about that, but then I tell you, you need the Social Security card, your EIN. Now you can open a business bank account without an EIN, but you'll be using your social. So again, we want to start separating ourselves. So get the EIN, so when you open a business bank account, it's literally under the business's Social Security. Your state ID, and then you'll need your fictitious name filing business name statement. Business insurance, talked a little bit about that. You want to get with an insurance agent who specializes in business insurance. So when you get there and when you're ready for that, explore bonding, explore insurance, work with an insurance agent who can offer you multiple companies and their resources. So those are the 8 steps, literally. Pick your location, choose your formation, choose a name, register the name with the state, get your EIN from the federal government, apply for any licenses or permits within your county or your city, go open a business bank account anywhere that offers business bank accounts, and then get some insurance based on the work you're doing. Whatever that is, have some kind of protection. Put it all together. We have the 1-page. Some people get so overwhelmed with a business plan, like, oh, it's got to be 10 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages. Some of them are, but you can start with 1 page, get that to the loan people. And if it's done properly, 5 W's and an H, so simple. Who, what, when, where, why, how. Literally, that's a business plan. If I can hand this to you, you can read it and understand my idea, who I want to serve, what I want to do, why I want to do it, how I'm going to do it. That's my business plan. Now, I'll take that 1-page business plan and I'll blow it out over time, right? Flesh it out. And we'll talk products and services. We'll talk marketing. We'll talk all of that. Now you got a 10-page, 20-page business plan. But starting out, don't overwhelm yourself. Just get the idea out of your head and get it on paper. That's what the 1-page business plan is for. And you have that in your package. But that's what I'm also going to email you. Because for every business idea you have, you should be doing a one-page business plan. That way you get the idea out of your head and on paper. It has no value to anyone if it's in your head. And then you die and there goes the business. But if somebody at least know you had a business plan, they can carry that on. It's alive. It's not in your head. Okay, so the one-page business plan is important. The loan applications, any investors, any capital raising, they're gonna want to know what's your business plan. And you need to be able to hand it to them right away. Not say, oh, let me go create it. So they can be like, oh, you're not ready. I only work with serious ready people. Moving on. Now you lost the opportunity. So if we stay ready, we ain't gotta get ready. One page, take 15 minutes and fill it out. And then over time, just improve it. But have it ready. Readiness is part of this thing I'm learning. Like, literally, if you don't have to get ready, stay ready. When the opportunity comes, you're like, yes, I can say yes to that. Versus, oh, let me go, oh, I don't have time. Like, now you miss the opportunity. So part of being in business is being ready, because you don't know where that opportunity is going to come. Somebody might be like, oh, can you set up at the, fair? I have $200. That literally happened to me. Got a call, somebody was like, hey, I'm having this event. I have an extra booth. I need you to fill it. I got a $200 budget. Can you come through? Yes. Yes, I can. I'll take that $200 for 1 hour. I got paid $200 for an hour, right? We're talking hourly rates all the time. Well, do you make $200 an hour? If not, let's go get it. So stay ready. Stay ready and stay on the top of people's minds with what you're doing, because people are out here with money, literally. We just have to be in front of them for them to know to give it to us. All right. Notepad went around. Add your name to the email list. That way you get the one-page business plan and you get the how to start your own business checklist. You should have the checklist in your pile of papers, but if you want it emailed, you have the soft version. Pull it up anytime in your email. I'll get that to you, so make sure I have your email. And that's all I've got for you, folks. Next steps, like I said, are going to be to meet with me if you want to talk further about where you are in your business, you're ready for next steps, or you need help organizing, whatever it is where you are in your process. You can meet with me, absolutely free, here in my office. We can meet in person. We can meet over the phone. We can meet via a platform called Zoom. So if you can't make it, we can still see each other while we're talking. Distance doesn't have to play a role. My business cell is on there. I'm always a resource. Got a question? Hit me up. Text me. I just say, give me about 48 business hours if it's not urgent. I cover LA County. I'm everywhere all the time. 48 business hours, I'll be back in touch with you. If it is urgent, just call me and text me and say it's urgent, and then I'll know to respond to you ASAP. But if it's not urgent, give me 48 business hours. I'll send out the link to schedule a session, so I'll have that for you as well in an email. And then to save the date, August 20th here, 12:30, and we're gonna do small business certification. Makes sense. So if you're up and ready, then you could have the certification, at least one of the certifications, which is the small business certification. And again, once you're certified, you get access to all of the stuff they don't tell us, because you will not get access to it if you're not certified. You have to literally be a part of a database. And once you're in that database, you'll get every contract that is released from that agency. I've been getting updates every day. Every day they send out emails. All kinds of stuff, whether it's dirt hauling or paving the road, or they need somebody to go train DWP employees on something, like they have a curriculum. They have the curriculum. They just need you to come in and train them. There's all kinds of opportunities out here. But being certified is what gets you in the database. And once you're in the database, that's when you start getting the email on all the contracts.
August 20th at what time?
12:30, and it's in your packet.
So we do these
The other thing is,
8
Sorry.
steps? No, it's okay.
Same place, yep,
8 steps
yep.
and be ready.
You ready?
Okay.
now, is it a benefit getting certified as being a minority and a woman?
Absolutely. I have all those certifications. And it's one that looks good for the county. So if you want to do anything with the county, because these certifications are issued by the county. So it looks good to them to say, oh, we're doing business with 20% of our businesses that we contract with are minority owned, are women owned. they have to be able to report that because by law, some of these, not some, all of the contracts that come down, every last one of them has a quota to be able to issue certain contracts to minority, women, disabled veteran, and then the other certifications. So like local small business disadvantage. They have to set aside a certain amount of the contract for those businesses in particular. Their challenge is they know the businesses are out there, but they go to the database and they say, okay, well, we need a marketing agency to help us do some flyers for this campaign that we're in charge of. They are the big contractor, what you call a prime. Primes are the ones that get like the hundreds of millions, and then they have to subcontract to us, the small business. But when they do that, they go to the database first. They have to by law. It's okay, we need a marketing agency. Go to the database, there's no marketing agency in here. But we know there's Black-owned marketing agencies, there's women-owned marketing agencies, but they're not certified. Without the certification, you don't get that designation and you don't get put in the database. So when they go to look for us, we're not there. So they don't know how to find us. They could go and Google, and sometimes they do, but not all primes will do that. Search us out. They'll just go to the database, see who's there, and then, okay, they got it. They got the contract because they were there. Literally, that's how it happens. And if there's not a competitive bid, let's just say it's just one certified business for that particular need, they automatically get the contract. Showing up is half the battle. But if you don't even know about it, you're not even part of the game. So I'm like, oh, is that the process? Let me teach this. Because it took me like a year to figure it out because it's so convoluted. There's so many agencies. There's so many different certifications. But literally, just to get one is all it takes. And then you'll start getting the emails every day about, oh, this contract just came out. And they're due like in 2 weeks. So you got to be on it to apply, turn it in, and then wait. But just imagine, that could be the game changer. I mean, you worried about selling on a one-on-one basis, you get that contract, you get it for 2 years. Some of these contracts are like renewable after 5 years, renewable after 2 years, but it might just be a 12-month gig. I'll take 60 grand for 12 months, right? And for my business versus going to work for 60 grand, showing up somewhere every day for 5 days. So I think we're going to do that. Certification, if we want to talk loans, then I'll even see if I could bring in a loan officer.
And when we talk certification, can you tell us how can we get certified, you know, like you said, as a minority or as a woman-owned business?
Because they're all the same. And once you get one, it's kind of similar. Once you get one, it gives you access to do the others. So some of them are saying, well, you need your SB certification before you can apply for woman-owned, minority-owned. SB certification took 24 hours. I thought it was like this big old thing. I did it. I literally got my certification. Like, it kicked back the email right away. You're certified. Here's your number. I was like, if people knew it was this simple, we'd be in the database. But they don't tell us that.
And all you need in order to get the certification first is
The stuff that I just, right, to be in business. You actually have to be legit because this is the county. So if they find you and they ready to drop a $100,000 contract, they don't want to hear, oh, I got to go get registered with the state. Like, no. So that's part of the litmus test. Everybody who's getting that certification, the application is going to ask you for your EIN. It's going to ask you for your, it's going to ask you for everything we talked about today. And at the very least, even if you haven't been in business and say, well, upload your tax return for the past 2 years. I haven't been in business for the past 2 years. Upload a document. My business was created on this day. Check my FBN, because your FBN, the fictitious business name statement that you filed with the state, is going to show when your business was created. That's your proof. I don't have 2 years tax return. But upload a document anyway, so it's not a blank space that'll kick back your application. So I figured it out, believe me. So if you upload the document, it'll say I have only been in business since this date, reference my FBN, and you'll get, your application will get pushed through. So that's the first step, not getting the kickback. Most people say, well, I don't have that. I haven't been in business, so they don't even fill out anything, which makes sense. I get it. But I learned, just upload a document saying what it is, because it's a person reviewing it. It's a person reviewing it. And then, even when that person gets the application, if there's something wrong, they will email you directly. Ask me how I know, because I did something wrong, and she emailed me directly. And then I had a person that I could go back and forth with, which most people, you don't have that. It's just an 800 number that you never get through to. So once that person kicked in, I was like, oh, thank you, Father. Okay, cool. It's like, well, just send me this, send me that, and I'll take a look, and then if everything's good, we'll have your certification. Well, thank you. Like, I didn't know it was that simple. It's that simple. So get ready. And right now, again, lots of money here, so we want to be positioned for it. Question, sir.
So the thing that brought me here,
Yeah.
Dr. Reese, is initially when I learned about this seminar,
Yep.
is that I have a barber that's transitioning from, he wants to transition from being a barber to truck driving. But he wants to drive, we want to do dirt hauling, right? But a lot of the brothers I talk to, they under the impression that they actually have to go and get a Class A license and buy a truck and figure out how to get contracts themselves. But I don't necessarily want to drive no truck. I don't necessarily want to haul no dirt. But I would like to own a business and hire guys to do that.
Right. Right.
You know, and for me, I want to figure out how to do that instead of, like, I don't want to start a business to be linked to a whole nother 60-hour week job. You know, now if I have to get my hands dirty in the beginning, that's
Of course.
cool.
Right.
You know, and so I'm like, you know, what, and then there's another thing. With that being said, nobody has no money. So traditionally, everyone was taught the first 5 years, you don't turn a profit in business. And I just want to know your quick thoughts.
Oh, I'm so glad you asked me. I have something burning inside me. First, mindset is everything. Literally. We got to stop saying we don't have no money. We do. We just spend it how we want to spend it. We put it where we want to put it. So that's the first thing. We got the money. We just have to redirect it. Second thing is,
Louisiana chicken on 83rd Normandy, they know all about.
let me
They get
tell
a
you,
lot of money.
down
from
to
us.
closing time, where it's like, no, we're closed, you can't
No.
come in. Right. So we have the money. We just have to
Right.
redirect it. Contracts, running a business. Part of this is to create a system. I'm not in business to not make money, and I'm not to make a profit, and I'm not in business to work for myself like for forever. I don't want another job. I'm not trying to replace my job with my business by being in another job. So you want to think system. So I like what you said in terms of, yeah, I want to own it, but I don't want to do the work. Build the system. So if you want to be able to have someone come into your business, whether you're there or not, and it still runs, whether you're there or not, got to think system. And you have to start documenting everything you do. Otherwise, how are you going to train someone else to do it, right? So literally, your employee handbook. And some business loans might even ask for that, like, where's your employee handbook? Even if it's one page, you want to have one. How do you make the sauce? We'll put 2 dabs of this and 3 sprinkles of that. Like, document your system. How do we welcome a client when they walk in the door? Say good morning. Document your system. Somebody should be able to come in, read that system, and do the exact same thing you would do and get the exact same outcome. That's a system. If they don't, then it ain't a system. You gotta refine the system. Think McDonald's, literally, right? Come in, you get trained. Everybody knows how to do the burgers the same way. Everybody say the same thing at the register. It's the system. So start documenting that system. Now, if it doesn't exist yet, you gotta go through it. So you will have to build it, maybe go through the trainings for driving.
Right.
You might have to sit through it. That way you know what your people are gonna go through. You know the experience. So you go through it, but document everything. That way, when you get that first person you're ready to train, not only do you have your materials, so that's gonna be easier for the training, but you know what they're about to go through. And there's nothing, better than that, because you'll be their direct contact. You had another question. What was it? I feel like I'm not answering it. I mentioned the mindset, and then you said you wanted my thoughts about something else.
Businesses failing within the first 5 years.
Yes.
They're not sustainable.
Yes. Okay.
Traditionally.
Mindset. Again, who wakes up in the morning? Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to fail today. Who does that? No one. So don't do it.
One more year to fail.
I can't wait to fail in my 3rd year. Ooh, I can't wait. Who does that? So we should be waking up, training our subconscious mind that, no, in 2 years, not only am I going to be making a profit every year, but I'm going to hit my goal and I'm going to retire. And we have to retrain our subconscious mind, which is why I was thinking about doing this in August, because it doesn't matter how much information we have. I had this conversation with another client. She's like, I know what to do, but I still dip into my savings. I still don't have anything to show for my hard work. And I have $2,000 every month that I don't need. Why would you think someone would do that? It's not because they don't want more. It's not because she doesn't know more. It's because our subconscious minds are working against us based on what we trained it to tell us. Things like, we don't turn a profit in the first 5 years. So guess what your business is going to do? It will not turn a profit until year 6, if you stick around that long. Because your subconscious mind is trained to believe it. So when you're out in the world, every decision you make is with the guise of that subconscious mind saying, we're not turning a profit till year 5, so you don't need that opportunity. We're not turning a profit till year 6, so why do you need to go to that training where you get a grant?
That's the whole fear of failure.
Fear. Fear itself, false evidence against reality. Like I had a student, he said, well, I'm afraid that if I die, he said something about like if he died, his parents wouldn't have anything. And I said, okay, that's a legitimate fear, but have you ever died before? So how do you know what's gonna happen? You don't. It's in your head. It's made up. Fear is so powerful.
Yeah.
Because it's literally not real, but it's in our head. And then we give it thought as if it's real, and then we'll say, well, I'm not going to do that because I don't want that to happen.
You can't see
Has it happened yet? It hasn't happened. Now, evidence. What evidence do you have to support that happening? Okay, if you never died before, you don't know, so that's false. That's the F. Well, what evidence do you have to support that if you did die, your parents wouldn't have anything? What evidence supports that? Do your parents have a house? Yes. Do your parents take care of you? Yes. So all your evidence shows that your parents are okay. False evidence against reality. What's your reality? You're alive. You're not dead. Your parents are good. You have everything you need. It's made up. It's in your head. Fear, false evidence against reality. It doesn't exist. It's just that powerful that it will rest in our mind and tell us what to do. Oh, God, I'm not going to do that because last time so-and-so did that, she said it didn't work out. That ain't even your situation. So how do you know that's going to happen to you? What evidence suggests that you're going to walk in that building and somebody's going to be rude to you? Has that happened before? Maybe. But has it happened in this building with that lady sitting there? No. So it's in your head. It's made up. And you got to be powerful enough to then combat that and just kill it. I told the kids, immediately disassociate from those thoughts. Whatever it is, shift, get up, walk, tell yourself, no, that's not real. False evidence against reality. Whatever you do to immediately disassociate, you're now retraining your subconscious mind to say, oh, wait, the conscious mind only does what you tell it. That's the other thing. Oh, wait, she just said don't worry about fear. Okay. So now everything you do, the subconscious mind is going to say, well, you're not fearful. So I'm going to bring that in front of you and you're going to be like, ooh, that's new, that's different. But okay, I'm open to it. Even your language changes. How you approach things changes. So your subconscious mind only does what you tell it to do. And if we've trained it to think about things that don't happen, that's what we're always going to do. We're going to think about all the things that haven't happened. And then we're going to make decisions based on that. Right? That's the craziest thing ever, right? I mean, something that is literally not real can control us from not doing something in the real world. But that's fear. It's false evidence against reality. So when you recognize it, when you feel it, you have to immediately disassociate. So you start retraining your subconscious mind to give you what you ask for, not to give you the things that it's just used to giving you because we haven't retrained it. So that's another reason why I felt like the mindset piece is so important, because you could go learn how to do this and you might find a week from now that you've done nothing. And part of it could be that you told yourself, well, I don't have my, I don't know what name I want to be, or, I haven't found my taxes yet, so I don't really want to. Okay, well, you just told yourself why nothing is working out. Because you're sitting here thinking about what you don't have, rather than just going to do what I told you to do when you leave here. Take action on what you do have. feel like fake it till you make it, like a visionary. Absolutely, but even that, I'm not faking anything,
Right.
because I am what I say I am. I might not have the bank account to show it yet, but my language is I am getting more. I am getting it. So those are declarations. When you have a declaration, you're committing to it. I am getting this. I am moving in 3 months. I don't even know where I'm moving. But I am moving in 3 months. I'm committed. So I just told my subconscious mind, okay, she's ready to move. So she needs a place. So now I'm starting to see like for rent signs everywhere, just popping up, where before I couldn't see anything. It's like, I don't know where I want to move. And, oh, am I going to have enough money? And you think about all the things that will hold you back. But if you just, it's a training, and it sounds so airy and fluffy, but there's a spiritual principle at play with tapping into that. And so it calls into your faith. It'll be a music that to check in with yourself. How do I feel about that? Okay, well, is this something I want to start, stop, change, or continue? And you give yourself permission to then decide what's best. If I'm going to start this new behavior, cool. If I'm going to stop this behavior, cool. If I want to change this behavior, or I'm going to continue. But now I give myself full permission to acknowledge I feel a way about it, and I want to do something about it. So now what? Okay, I'm going to stop doing that. Okay, you're going to stop doing that, and what are you going to start doing? Take the action immediately and commit to it. I am going to do X, Y, and Z. I don't know how, I don't know where, I am going to do it. And before you know it, somebody will say, you know, I was thinking about, and you're like, dang, I was just thinking about that too, and now I got the opportunity. It literally happens like that, because your subconscious mind only does what you tell it to do. So if you tell it, you know what, I'm not going to turn a profit, because businesses typically don't turn profits in 5 years. Okay. So subconscious mind is like, oh, we got 5 years to fail. Cool. Let's go. I'm going to give you all of what you tell me. But if you tell that subconscious mind, okay, year one, I want to make 10% more than I did in my job. All right, well, 10%. Do the math. Now you know what the number is. Every opportunity that comes your way is going to be enough to add up to that 10%. Before you know it, wow, I didn't even have to go and get it. It came to me, because you're attracting those things, and it just gets easier and easier. I will tell you, at the end of this year, I think I'm probably going to write a book about it, because it is so powerful in my life right now. And I'm just manifesting money to where my mindset is almost completely shifted to where I'm like, I don't doubt anymore. I still doubt maybe about 10% of the time. So every time I'm in a situation, I say every 10th time, I'm like, ooh, can I do it? Can I do it? And I'm like, wait, what evidence do you have to suggest you can't do it? Then I cut it out. But that pep talk, that self-talk is so important, because right now I think too, it's just a sign of the time. Like, it's just getting harder to do everything, but it's a lot easier when you have faith and a spiritual principle in what you're doing. You don't have to beat people over the head with it, but whatever you believe is what you believe. Belief is powerful, because a lot of people don't believe in themselves. That's why businesses fail, because every day they're like, well, I don't know if I can, I don't know if I can. Just do it. The market gonna tell you if they want it or not. If you don't know if your food good enough, let the market try it.
What the Bible speaks.
Right.
Have faith.
Not
Have
seen.
faith, do the work. Have faith, do the work. The faith is there. All we have to do is do the work.
Just show
And
up.
we will be rewarded.
Show up.
Speaking in existence.
Right.
Continue to speak. Continue to be positive about it.
Right.
You know, regardless of the negative will come. Just move it on out the way. It's just like the obstacles that want to be in our way. Move it out the way. Don't go around it, because you got to go through it. Move it out the way. You know, I've been very successful in my life, but I just go wrong direction.
I'm going around it.
I know that. I done broke down the wall. I'm gonna be a dangerous man. And
Yes.
it gave me time to think.
Now it's time to act.
So,
Nothing but action.
right.
Right?
You say, hey, who's that dude?
Right. Right.
Who's
Right.
that dude right there?
You just claimed that.
It's
Exactly.
up there, and I always speak up.
Right.
Always. Continue to speak up, man. Don't let nobody get you down. Do this thing. This go come, bro. Go come, because anything we do as black people, dominate. Yeah, anything. That's true. I'm gonna dominate my game up. This game I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna dominate. Remember this faith.
That's right.
My witness. That's right. In the name of Jesus, he is my witness. He told me.
And it's so important that I think we share those stories, you know,
Yeah.
the struggles, the triumphs, but that staying positive piece, there's a book. I'm careful about recommending this book because if you're not ready for it, it don't even matter for you to read it. That's how powerful it is. But it will create the shifts that are necessary in your mind to start welcoming more wealth. And when you do that, you work less. I'm finding I'm getting paid to do like my part-time job, completely replace the income from my full-time job. And now this part-time job, like I'm moving on at some point, but my day rate, like I get paid now for a day rate what I would make in a week. And my mindset is constantly shifting around what I can and can't have. I'm like, well, I can have literally anything I write down because I'm telling my subconscious mind it's so powerful, it's gonna go out and find it for you. That's the secret. Like, what's the secret to getting wealth? This mindset, because wealthy people don't think either or, they think both. Say, go start your business. I need money, go start a business. We're told, oh, you need money? Go get a job, right? So our subconscious mind is now programmed from a little bitty kid, when I need money, I gotta go get a job. That's what we do. Versus, why don't we naturally go start businesses like the other cultures? What are they telling their kids? What are they planning in the subconscious mind? So now we're adults with things that don't work for us. I'm like, why can't I get the result? I know what to do. Well, because your instinct is to do what you were subconsciously trained to do. And after 20 years, you have to untrain your mind. No one ever thinks about that work and how it impacts everything we do, from how we wake up in the morning, what we say when we wake up in the morning, how we interact with each other. But all of that stuff, to me, is the key to success. And in my wealth formula, finances is the last piece. It's human capital plus intellectual capital plus spiritual capital plus financial capital. Human capital, babies. We need people. I know what I know, but if I can't pass it down to anybody in my family or to train anybody else, it dies. I think like my uncle, he's in construction. He has a kid, but his kid is not into what he does. But I'm like, all of what he knows, when he dies, it goes away. And that is so unfortunate because he knows a ton, but he doesn't have any human capital to pass it down to. So I'm like, well, let's start a nonprofit where you train young people to do the work. I say, why they have to be excused, right? So mindset, intellectual capital, what you know, your craft. You know what you know. No one else knows what you know, even if you offer the same thing, not you. So you've got to codify, you've got to be able to spread that knowledge, pass it down through the human capital, spiritual capital. I think that kind of speaks for itself. No matter what you believe in, you got to have something that's guiding you, because most of the stuff is not seen. So for those people who don't believe us, like they say, family and friends will not buy from you. They don't think of you in the way you're putting yourself out. And they have to see it first. They got to see everybody else buy your product before they believe you even have a business. Crazy, right?
That's what it is.
But that's how it is. And once you know that, then you don't even bother with focusing on them. It's like, let me get this marketing campaign for the people I don't know. And once they start buying, y'all get on board, and I ain't even gonna work with y'all because I'm all good. Like, it's cool. And it's right. And if you do, you gotta pay my rate. There's no discounting. We don't discount. When you discount, you're training people to not give you what you worth. And every time they show up, girl, I'm gonna need that hookup. This hookup.
Free.
My utility people didn't say they was gonna give me the hookup. So why am I hooking you up? We gotta stop that mentality. Train people how to treat you and train people on what you're worth. It's okay if they don't buy from you. 6 billion people in the world. 6 billion people in the world. So don't ever feel like you need their sale. Man, there's 6 billion people in the world. If I can't get somebody else to buy for me, I shouldn't be in business. So that goes back on us. So it's just really about being so unwaveringly committed to your idea. Even if you can't see it all right in front of you, stay so focused. And if you need the support to stay focused, that's where you reach out to a professional. Because sometimes you can't get it from your friend or your cousin or your sister. They go fall off the bandwagon. So many times people say, well, we started this together, but she wanted to go do that or he wanted to go. But now it's just me. But, I ain't really on track. I got to do this. Because you need support that believe in you. So get it. And then keep going. And then you'll start getting results. But you got to remember, believing in yourself is probably, somebody asked me, what's the hardest thing about running my business? I said, it's believing in myself. Because there's days when you just don't feel like it. Like you really don't. You got a fire roll.
Thank you for saying that.
I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. But what I've learned from reading this book, literally, my declaration, I act in spite of fear. I act in spite of worry. I act in spite of inconvenience. I act even when I don't feel like it. And that's what wealthy people do. And I noticed all these past 3 weeks, my son is with his father, so I'm like trying to maximize my time before he comes back. I've been pulling all-nighters, coming to this office like damn near not here because I'm so sleepy. But I have to act in spite of not feeling like it. Because I know the next person ain't doing that, they sleep. So while I'm up acting and I get up and I got to sell, oh, I'm straight. Like that just affirmed. I can do that again. Like, I'll pull that all-nighter all day if I have to because I'm seeing the results. But now I'm not going to have to pull all-nighters for very long. My system is going to be built. I didn't put the energy in. I didn't invest it. Now I can fall back a little bit and let the things that I built do what they're supposed to do. Now I'm straight. I just think we got to continue to train our mind and continue to surround ourselves in a community. I'm not giving y'all nothing that I ain't going to take it seriously. I'll it's on Amazon. Oh, it's on Amazon. You could go, I listened to it through an audio book. It's about 4 hours, so you can knock this out in a day. And I was like, that's the other thing. Wealthy people read at least a book a month, at least. Audio books, 4 hours. We can knock that out in a day. So just another wealth building principle. All right, here's the title of the book. It is called The Millionaire Mind, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. T. Harv Eker. Harveker. T. Harv Eker. And the book is just beautifully written. You don't have to get down with all of his ideas, but he's very straightforward about why he says what he says and why he does what he does. And it is just mind-blowing question.
Comment. I used to be in HR and work with a lot of people who started their own businesses. They were almost crazy. They believed in it. And I used to be like, I don't even see that. We haven't even built that. And then I would go and, hire the people, knowing we didn't have that. But it was like they just had like this. And you almost think they was crazy. You're like, exactly. Okay. Right.
It's like a drive.
I want y'all to think I'm crazy.
I mean, they were just almost like, and then they had friends just like them.
Just like them.
And they were just like, that's why I said they were almost like crazy. Hey, like even if you read the Jobs, it's just like, they're almost like, it's just right here. And you be like, there's no ocean. You be like,
you're crazy.
Right, but it was just like that and unwavering.
Unwavering commitment. I'll give you the book.
And they find a way.
That's my uncle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they find a way.
And actually, they don't find a way. It's attracted to them at that point.
And they have a bunch of little friends like that.
Just like them, because we are a reflection of who we hang out with.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally. I feel that I'm having that journey right now. So
Yeah.
there will be separations. You will lose people.
Yeah.
But I think as God-fearing people too, you know how to manage those relationships. Maybe you just don't spend as much time. Because we're business owners. We have to invest in our business. So even those kinds of decisions where like maybe I would have gone to happy hour with my cousin, but I'm not doing that because I need those 3 hours back. I got to build this million. Like, and once it's built, then I could treat you to happy hour because I own a place. Like, that's the difference, right?
Right.
So I'd rather take that
Sacrifice.
3 hours right now and make 3 million from it. So I honor your time. Thank you so much for joining me
Likewise.
today.
Thank you.
Likewise.
I pray this was valuable.
It was.
You got my info. Hit me up.
8.
So,
You gotta
so,
stick with the 8.
so the 8
We're gonna
first.
see you after the
8
8.
first.
Right. Get
The
that.
8 first.
Get the- I love that. Thank you.
It's crazy because it's not hard.
What you believe is what you manifest.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm fine. She's right. She's right.
I listen. I tell you that day I was like, Father, I need $200. I was like, I don't want to have to transfer from my savings because then I'm dipping in it. And I literally got a call and she was like, hey, you want to join me up this fair? I got $200. I got to spend it. I was like, thank you, Father. And even though I'm still believing this stuff, I'm like, nah, it works because I create the life I choose. Like, that's another declaration. You can't do nothing over here without me giving you permission. Like, we give people permission to mess up our stuff, and then we wonder why it's messed up. Stop giving people permission to come in on your stuff. Protect it. Everything in divine order, right? So now when you're hearing it over and over, that's how you know it's for you. Like, now you take that energy and you meditate on that. And anytime you got some negative coming your way, immediately disassociate from it. Like how people say, devil, I rebuke you. Well, it ain't always the devil. It could just be what it is. Like, literally. And you might think it's for you, but it's not. So I'll leave that with you. Everything in divine order. Thank you so much. You have your information. I will be following up. I'll get you these resources in email form. Make sure I can read everything. Okay. Got it. We're good. Well, thank you all. I
All right.
appreciate you.
Thank you for your
so much,
time.
Dr. Reese.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Likewise.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm about to run into a meeting. Man, I'm out of here. I'm tired.
Ugh. I know. I'm sorry. It was not enough in your.
No, listen. I got the recording, so I'm gonna send this out. Let me end it.